Good morning, Guardians. Briar Rabbit here. Yesterday, Bungie opened up the heroic mode of Wrath of the Machine for players, and today we're going to talk about the changes that were made compared to normal mode and some first impressions. This video will be spoiler heavy, so if you haven't done the heroic mode yet and you want to go in blind, you may want to shut this video off for now. Right out of the gate, of course, the recommended light level has been up to 380, and all of the raid encounters are at 390 light level. I went in at 385, and while I felt a bit squishy at times, I never really had any real survivability issues. So if you're looking to jump in, 385 light would be the minimum I would recommend, which shouldn't be too hard to achieve since the update yesterday. As with all heroic modes in the past, reviving teammates is disabled. The first encounter is outside of the raid gate with Vasic. There are no mechanical changes here, but you will notice that he and the normal enemies hit harder and take more damage than what you're used to in normal mode. This, of course, will continue to go on throughout the raid due to the higher light level. In Phase 2 of Vasic, there are some changes to the mechanics. First, there are now 6 Siva charges that must be thrown at the boss. This means that everyone on the fire team will be picking up a charge to throw it. My team had good luck by waiting for charges to drop, clearing ads, then picking them up and throwing them together. As with normal mode, the more that hit, the more of Vasic's shield disappears. If 1 or 2 miss, it's not a huge deal, but you may have to go through another Siva charge rotation or 2 to make up for it. The monitors have a minimal change. Instead of the small monitors around the edge activating, you'll need to focus on the larger ones in the middle. They take a lot more damage than the small ones, so call them out and make sure to team fire. There are still 2 clean rooms available for your fire team after each damage phase on Vasic. However, you cannot use the same room twice, and the doors are nearly shut, meaning you have to slide under them, which my fire team really enjoyed quite a bit. The main difference in the Vasic fight for my fire team was the increased danger from the much more potent ads. You really want to focus on getting these guys down as quickly as possible so you can grab and throw the Siva charges as safely as possible. The Siege Engine fight, of course, has more powerful enemies as well, but mechanically the only change is that a Fallen Walker spawns in front of the Death Zamboni when you try to bring the parts on board to repair it. It must be destroyed before you can head up the ramp, but honestly, it's not very difficult with a team of 6 shooting at it. The captain is still up top, and due to his increased power, may require more care in dispatching than you're used to. Phase 1 of Axis has one major change, the addition of Siva turrets that are placed on the left, right, and in the center of the room. They're extremely dangerous, but can be destroyed relatively easily with any weapon. Once destroyed, they will respawn every 15 to 20 seconds or so keep your eyes on them because they are quite deadly. Axis Phase 2 has 9 servitors spawn instead of 3. Your team will have to kill them and toss at least 7 of the Siva charges at Axis to start a DPS phase. Other than that, there's not really any other change. So let's talk about some first impressions. What did they get right and what could be improved? Starting at the beginning, I really like both Vasic encounters. The increased damage the ads are doing is felt immediately in Phase 1, and in Phase 2, they're absolutely deadly. At 385 light, I felt very little room for error and had to be constantly fighting off the ads to stay alive. I also felt there was plenty to keep me busy. I was juggling the ads, the monitors, and the Siva charges for the whole fight. As soon as the damage phase completed, the sprint and slide into the clean room was great. It was extremely exciting, and I really think they nailed Vasic. The Siege Engine is a bit of a different story. The only new mechanic is a new enemy, the spider tank, and while it is a bit harder due to the stronger enemies, it is also an experience marred greatly by the amount of slowdown present in this fight. The frame rate absolutely chugs here, and sometimes a wipe will be caused by not being able to control your character properly more than any mistakes that a teammate or you made. This really needs to be addressed because it's one of the most spectacular things we've seen in Destiny, and it's somewhat ruined due to poor performance. Axis Phase 1 and 2 pretty much feel unchanged from the normal mode once you get used to the turrets and the 9 servitors. I guess it feels a bit more dangerous, but once we all hit light level 390 plus, I suspect that will go away. I honestly was expecting a new twist to be thrown in here, and I'm a bit disappointed that we didn't get one. Also, even at 385 light, I felt strangely safe. Against Vosik, I felt like there was one little mistake between life and death for the whole encounter. Not really against Axis. The cannon-wielding captains could get a bit saucy every once in a while, but heavy ammo or supers would take them down really quickly. Once our fire team figured out the respawn time on the Siva turrets, we pretty much just stopped dying. It was still fun, but it certainly wasn't as hard as I expected. And that may be alright. The raid is fun and drops some extraordinary loot. It's just that it never reaches that pinnacle of difficulty that I think other raids have had in the past. I don't really feel like I did something heroic after completing it, and that's a bit disappointing. That's going to do it for this episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button if you liked the video, and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.